Hello and welcome to the other side of the kitchen table. This is Tales from the Toilet Bowl, and we did get a couple of comments. We'll get this out of the way first. So Leanne Smith, you asked us to try a certain yogurt from Asda's, and we did actually drag ourselves down to Asda earlier, but because of the COVID, they didn't have what we wanted in, so we'll be doing that next week. We will cover it, but we'll cover it next week, and we'll be putting it against the Oncombe yogurt that we usually get, and tell you what we think. So we haven't forgotten you, and thank you for leaving a comment, Leanne. How are the kids? And it sort of goes that way that we know them. But we will try to cover that next week for you.
And thank you for letting me know that one of your kids uses the Garnier thing that we covered yesterday.
Did I?
Yeah, one of them does,
yeah. And Kai, we miss you.
We do.
How you doing? And if you see Sing, say hi from us. Yeah. That's another dead giveaway that we know who's commenting here, but still. Yeah, so thank you for commenting. Now, today's video is going to be a little bit different. Now, if you get bored with looking at us or hearing us, then turn off now. Okay, because
this is a bit of a long one.
This is about holidays from hell.
Story time.
Story time. Boy, is it a story. And it was my first ever holiday abroad. Hello, Gremlin. This cat, honestly.
There's one behind us as well. Tiggy's behind us.
We've got two of our cats that want to star in this video.
Andy boy's down there. He's just being a good boy.
Don't lick me. So yeah, holidays from hell.
Video bombing much?
Oh, this one's licking me. So right, where do we start?
I don't know. When I booked the flights the first time, I guess.
First of all, we decided we decided that we wanted to go to Lanzarote
Come on.
for my holiday.
Good girl.
So my wonderful daughter here booked us a flight through Thomas Cook. So the night before the flight, I'd already paid for the cab there to Gatwick and back from Gatwick. Really excited.
We had an apartment booked and everything.
Couldn't sleep. I was like, At 3 o'clock that morning, Thomas Cook folded. The morning we were due to fly out. My beautiful daughter came downstairs around 6 a.m. and I had to give her the great news that...
It was before 6, it was about 3 in the morning because I couldn't sleep.
Well, I had to give her the great news that Thomas Cook had actually folded. We had swearing.
Well, first of all, I said, let's wait and see what happens because they might tell us to go to the airport and sort us out another flight. But they said, don't go to the airport. But people were still going to the airport and they were still getting flights.
But we had a lot of swearing. We had a lot of cursing. So I phoned the cab company and I said, look, can we reschedule the cab because she'd already decided that we were going to go for another flight. We were going to try and get another flight to Lanzarote.
Give myself brain damage.
Because we'd packed everything. We were sitting there all ready to go. And unfortunately it wasn't to be. So I rang the cab company and put the cab on hold. She had to email the travel insurance company so as we could change the dates of our travel insurance and contact the person who had the apartment because everything was booked and unfortunately it was no
They were
go.
very understanding though because they said, oh yeah, Thomas Cook's gone under, and they knew our holiday was with Thomas Cook, so they were quite cool about it, which is lucky really.
Anyway, that was a cue for Kaylee to start looking for an alternative flight. 3 days on the computer. 3 days of swearing, brain frying. The computer, if it could hear it got called every name under the sun. And eventually we found an alternative flight with...
Iberia. Liberia.
Liberia Airlines. Well, actually, the flight out was with a company called Smartwings.
Yeah, but it was still through.
It was still through a company called Welling, which is kind of spelt Vulung. And to be honest, they are the worst. I've heard from other people that they're the worst. What do I know? I've never flown before, so.
And I'd always go with Monarch. I've been with Thomas Cook before, and once I think I went with TUI. I'm not sure, but I'd never flown with Welling before. So I was always like, Monarch was my favourite, but obviously they went under years ago, and like Thomas Cook was my next go-to, but it wasn't to be.
So finally, we got another flight. At this point, I wasn't getting excited. I was getting very anxious because I'd seen the crowds at Gatwick. I am agoraphobic. I do suffer from sight loss. And the person who has got to accompany me to this packed place is
Muggins here.
a claustrophobic. So, the day of our flight came around. I was sleeping quite peacefully, and then she got my carer to come and wake me up. I was awoken rudely to the sound of trumpets on his mobile phone. I was like, yeah.
I was already awake. I'd had my makeup on and everything. I was just sitting in my bed.
He said, you better get ready because you've got to go to the airport.
I was just watching something on YouTube.
I came downstairs and put my makeup on, not being able to see what I was doing at all. I was also running dangerously low on medication at this point. And I was like, crap, I've only got enough for like 2 weeks. So, took my pills, put my slap on, got my clothes on, got ready, said goodbye to the cats, said goodbye to everyone, made sure everything was sorted out, and we went out and got in the cab. And it was raining. So, there we were on a rainy day, sitting in the cab, going to Gatwick. I was excited and terrified all at the same time. And I said to the cab driver, as you do, oh, we are all right for our cab back because I paid for this in advance. Yeah, you're okay. Oh, good.
We always pay for our cabs in advance.
So, we're sitting there in the cab. We get to Gatwick and he turned around and said £55. I went, excuse me? I've already paid. No, you haven't. I went, I was talking to you in the cab and I said, we're okay for our cab back because we have already paid. No, you haven't. I went, ring the office. Now, at this point, she'd run to the loo because she was desperate and she'd gone to the loo and to get us trolley.
Get down.
So I'm standing there arguing with the cab driver who is now on the phone to the office saying, has she paid or hasn't she paid? And the office must have okayed me because you went, oh, okay. And didn't want to get the cabs out, the cases out of the cab, but he finally did.
It was like 2 really heavy bags.
Yeah, he wasn't very considerate about helping us.
And 2 cases, like hand cases.
When I was sort of like turning blue and huffing and puffing trying to get the first one out, by this time she'd actually come back from the loo with a trolley, and I sort of stuffed it straight on the trolley and he got the other one out and he wasn't very happy about it, was he? And he sort of went, So, okay, bye. And we went into Gatwick. Now, it wasn't a descent into chaos like I thought it was going to be.
It was quite empty, actually.
It was actually pretty good. It was fairly empty, so I was like, yes, okay, I'm not too bad. And then we saw some people, and I was like, hey, the people! And
but I made friends with 2 rats.
Yeah, there are rats at Gatwick. Everybody knows there are rats at Gatwick.
I didn't know there were rats at Gatwick until I met them.
Yeah, there are rats at Gatwick. They're usually outside, but because we went outside to have a cigarette, the rats were just like running around and they were happy little rats.
One of them came quite close to me and I was talking to the rat and people were looking at me like I was mental.
Yeah.
But we already know that I'm mental.
We like rats and things like that. We don't like butterflies.
No,
we like rats though.
Snakes, rats, cats, bats.
So, anyway, we were sitting there talking to the rats. Then we decided that we had to go in and check our luggage. I have never checked luggage before. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And
But the office bit where we had to check in our bags was closed. So we went and got a coffee, because every time when I go on a flight, I have a coffee. It's my routine. And we went and sat down. Well, my mum she went and sat down because I have a bad back. So I needed to sit down. And there were these two women. Oh my God, how rude were they? They were like sitting there and, sorry, this seat is quite uncomfortable. And I was talking to my mum and I was just saying, sit down, chill, have your coffee. And I wasn't even like asking for a seat or anything. I was just standing there talking to my mum. And they started laughing at me.
yeah, and that's the problem. You see, there's so many mirrors at Gatwick, they probably caught sight of
I
themselves.
didn't look that funny. I know I usually look funny.
Well, who cares? We're going to see those again in our lifetime. No.
With their flowery boots.
Exactly. Come on, let's taste. So anyway, we went inside and we got to check our luggage. Now I know nothing. I'm standing there like, no, I don't do that. And she said, right, we've got to go over here now. The flight we had to pay for the luggage separately.
I need a cushion.
That is right, isn't it?
Yeah.
We had to pay for the luggage separately. So we got it weighed, and the lady was absolutely lovely. She could not have been nicer. She was really sweet. And we decided that we were going, she told us how much we had to pay. So we went over to the
Cheaper than I
window
thought, which I was happy
pay,
about.
and it was Hitler's little sister.
Oh, God.
She was the most unhelpful, miserable individual I have had the misfortune to meet.
I don't think she liked me.
I don't think she liked anyone. She was absolutely horrible. She is horrendous. I don't only had euros because we changed the money up.
As you do when you go on holiday.
She went, oh, we don't take euros. We're like, okay then. You got to go over there, get it changed.
She was foreign as well.
So, she was Irish, I think.
Oh, was she Irish?
She went, go in there and get it changed. So, we went over there, got it changed, had to pay the exchange rate, went back. That's not enough. We're like, that is enough, isn't it? No, 75 pence more. So we went back to the change window to see if we could change up £1, and they won't let you do that. It's got to be £5. And the guy who was behind the window looked like my ex, Frank.
That's what made you go over the third time.
Yeah, and it wasn't him because, years have passed. I looked totally different. He would have looked totally different. He might have been related. He related, and he was like, no, I don't know anyone by that name. And I was like, okay, because you really look like him. And he went, look, I haven't charged you the exchange. Go on, just because he'd seen us before.
Twice before,
when we went to get the money changed. So we went back and we paid her.
You paid her because I won't go over
Well,
to
I
her.
paid her because this one, she was standing next to me and she was like,
Getting ready to punch her.
I was like, okay, I don't like her much either. And we went back to the lady who was doing the check-in.
She was absolutely lovely.
was.
She was an angel.
She said that it was her day off the following day. She got 3 days off, and we were saying, well, we hope you have a really good 3 days off. And she said, I hope you have a really good holiday. If only we knew then. And we were like, thanks, and like, yay. And I had to go to this big enclosed area for disabled people because we had a buggy booked. So we're sitting there in this big disabled area waiting for our buggy and our flight, and then it come up on the screen. Your flight has been delayed. So we sat there and we sat there and we sat there a bit longer.
I went in Boots and got a drink and some chewing gum because I was bored.
I'd had a full acrylic manicure before we went.
Hello again.
And we were sitting there and one of my nails pinged off and went across the what. I don't know where that ended up. So if anybody sees a black nail with white spots on it, you know where it came from now. But I think they've cleaned it up by now.
I should have thought so.
Yeah, I would have thought they had it done by now, but you never know. So yeah, that was my nail that was pinged off my pinky finger, so I was going to Lanzarote not looking quite as good as I thought I was going to look, which isn't very good anyway when you look like me, but still.
So I was trying to get some glue as well, just in case.
Yeah,
but I couldn't get any.
No, didn't happen.
No.
Anyway, at 11 p.m. What time was our flight originally due at? It was like 5, wasn't it?
9 or something. I don't know.
Our flight was due a lot earlier, and finally it said wait for information at 11. So at 11 it said go to the gate. We panicked, and Kaylee said, "Don't wait for the buggy. We'll just go."
Because it was like 15 minutes had passed anyway, and I said the plane's going to leave without us.
So we did a dash. I don't run. I'm penguin when I walk. I don't do running. But I was like Usain Bolt. I've got my trolley. I'm running, and I've never been to, go into a gate before. I've never flown, so I've turned into like a really bad Usain Bolt. You know when you see him in the action replays? Well, that was probably like the speed I was going.
Yeah, my legs don't go in a straight line when I run either.
No, so there's her going zigzag. There's me not going very fast, but to us we're fast.
While wearing heels, by the way.
And I saw this man, and I've still got the buzzer for the buggy, and I went, "What am I gonna do with this? The buggy ain't coming." He went, "I'll give it to me. I'll put it back up."
He wasn't very nice or friendly.
So we're like, okay. So we're running along. I'm having a coronary by this point. We've got on that moving pavement. I'm like,
You nearly fell
yeah,
over
I
when
nearly
you got
fell
to the end.
over because I didn't realise where it was going to end. And I nearly fell over when we... So, I'm going, how much further we got to go? Because it seemed like it was a mile. I think we run halfway to Lanzarote, in all honesty. Finally got there, we're sitting there, and guess what? It was Hitler's brother who was standing there.
The guy who didn't smile.
Did not smile. I think they'd surgically removed his smile. He was like...
But he did actually kind of smile. He's at this guy who was sort of there with him. They were having a chat, and he sort of went, And I was like, that's his smile.
Passport.
Yeah.
Passport.
It was boarding pass, not the passport.
Boarding pass.
Yeah.
Boarding pass. And that was it. There was no smile. There was no interaction. Boarding pass. But there was this baby that was... The mummy was sitting next to me, and that baby had the most beautiful blue eyes. She was gorgeous, wasn't she?
Yeah.
And she thought that she was absolutely hysterical. She was smiling at her, laughing at her, trying to grab at her. And
she did grab at me.
we was just like talking to the baby. The mum didn't understand any English, so it's obvious the baby didn't, but she could understand us, sort of. And she was laughing
think
at
she
us.
could understand us.
We think that there was some kind of like understanding, we both got the same intellectual level, so I think there was some understanding there. And she was laughing, and she was so sweet.
Yeah, she was.
Finally, they said, well, Hitler's brother went, boarding. So I went, does that mean we get on the plane?
The buggy came.
Oh yeah, the buggy came 20 minutes later. The lady, I will not fault her. She was lovely.
Yeah,
and she come over and she went, are you all right? And I was like, oh, I will be. I can finally breathe. I'm having a coronary at the moment, but I'll be okay.
Gwyn.
And hello, Granny. And she was lovely, and she said, well, the buggies don't always get there like that because sometimes there's a bit of a delay, and we know that you have to wait at the gate, which I didn't know.
Neither did I.
And I was like, oh, okay then. And she went, well, you have a gorgeous holiday. And I went,
Prince.
I hope so. And we got on the plane. Bearing in mind, I have never flown before. And the person who was sitting in that seat before me, I think they were a contortionist. Because that belt had more twists in it than you can imagine.
The only way I can be calm on a flight is if I'm sitting next to the window.
So she had the window seat and I had the seat
I
next
can
to her.
see out.
And I'm like trying to untangle this spider web belt. And she went, ask the steward. Now, I'd been listening over the intercom and I knew the steward's name was Rudolph.
The red-nosed reindeer.
So I'm going, Mr. Rudolph, excuse me, Mr. Rudolph, Mr. Rudolph. He's standing there, he's like, I'm like, excuse me, Mr. Rudolph, excuse me.
You should have hit him.
Like, excuse me. He went, yeah. Can you help me? My seatbelt is kind of, I don't know what I'm doing. So reluctantly, he leaned over and he helped me with my seatbelt, and I got it on. So there's me, there's you, there's me, and then there was another lady sitting next to us.
There's a man?
No, it was a lady going there.
Was it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Going
Yeah,
there.
we had to get 2 planes, didn't we?
Yeah. So there we were on our way to Prague. And my daughter, she goes, oh, we go barreling down the runway at about 500 miles an hour, it's epic. And I'm like, yeah, good. We got going and we turned a corner and stopped. And I was like,
About 5 miles an hour.
I was like, is this it? She went, wait, Mum. There is a plane going across. The traffic jams on the runway. What? So we had to wait. And then we started barreling at 500 miles an hour. And I'm like, yeah.
It's my favourite part.
And then we took off. And she went, and you're up. And I was like, I'm flying. I'm with the birds. I'm flying.
She was driving me nuts.
I was excited. I was happy. I'm flying. And the lady who was sitting next to me decided to go, so she went.
Which gave us more room.
So I was like stretching out a bit. I didn't take my seatbelt off because
During the whole flight?
I sat for the entire flight from London to Prague with my seatbelt on because I
She's
thought,
crazy.
No, I didn't know. I didn't know if I took it off, I might not have been able to get it back on again.
At this point, I'd been up 24 hours and she had been up for about 12?
No, longer than that.
No, it wasn't, because I was up 24 hours. You wasn't up 24 hours. You was asleep.
Well, anyway.
I didn't sleep.
She had been up 24 hours. I had been up a while. Let's put it that way. Then we landed in Prague. This is where the nightmare really began. We disembarked in Prague. We've got out Prague airport. There is no one.
No.
It was deserted. It was. There was no one. If you'd have gone, hello, it would have just echoed because there was nobody there and nothing was open. So we were like, now what do we do?
And I'd never got a connecting flight before in my life. She'd never flown. I'd never got a connecting flight. So I usually get direct flights. So we didn't know what to do. So it's just like, okay.
What do we do now? So I said to her, well, shall we go and do some running repairs on her makeup and that? Because, you know,
This is where you get confused because we didn't do that yet.
Didn't we?
No.
Well, you take up the story there.
I can't remember. We was looking for someone to tell us where to go. And they looked like policemen who didn't speak English. They were policemen who didn't speak English. And we said,
do you speak English? And went, a little bit.
and she went, what about German? And then,
Speaking Deutsch? No.
So anyway, we said, where do we go? And then, woman. And I was like, oh, okay. So we went over to woman. And we've got our little hand luggage cases and stuff. And we've gone over to woman. My mum went before me because I thought, get her through first.
I went to the window and she went, boarding pass!
And passport.
Boarding pass and passport. Okay, you can have my boarding pass and passport, please.
I carry all the documents.
So she handed me my boarding pass and passport. I handed them to her. She went, go through there.
Same with me. She shouted at me as well.
My daughter, please. So Kaylee went and got yelled at, and she said, "Go through there."
I went, fine.
So we both went through
I
that.
don't do, people having a go at me, I don't do well with. I tend to have a go back.
Now, I don't believe in crying in public. I don't do tears very often, do I?
No.
We got in there. First of all, they went over me with one of those metal detector ones. Fine, don't care. Right? You can rub me over one of those as much as you like.
I've lost my
don't
keys
care.
as well.
Yeah, this was when we got. Then I got frisked. She was like this. Okay, so what? Don't care. Go over there, take off your belt, take off your hair ornaments, and take off the cross that's around your neck and your shoes.
That never comes off.
This, when I'm travelling or I think I need good luck, this never comes off. My late brother, has passed away, made this for me for my birthday some years ago. It doesn't leave my neck.
Apart from when I'm wearing it.
On rare occasions it does, but if I'm travelling or I think I need luck, that doesn't go anywhere. That is my good luck talisman, and I wear it most of the time.
Yeah.
And I took the combs out of my hair, I took my belt off, I took my shoes off, and very reluctantly I took the cross off from around my neck. Then the guy, security guard, there's the guy one who yelled at me.
He was a moron.
He yelled at me and he went, "You have scissors!" And I went, "No, I don't." "You have scissors."
It's funny now, but it wasn't funny at the time.
"No, I don't have scissors." "You have scissors." I was like,
That was quite scary what you just did then.
that's what he did to me. I was like, "Open your case." I was like, "Okay." So I opened my case. I had a spotty bag that had my underwear in it. And he went through every pair of knickers I own. Not just holding them up and shaking them. He was sticking his hand in the gusset, sticking his finger in the gusset and wiggling it about. And I was like, "Ooh." And he was going, "I want the scissors." I went, "I haven't got any scissors. What scissors are you talking about? I don't have scissors." Honest. If I had a pair of scissors, I would give them to you willingly. There are scissors. So I went through everything I could think of, and eventually I found it. There was a first aid kit that we hadn't even opened. It was just a first aid kit with plasters and that in it, and it had a pair of little orange handled scissors that bend when you try and cut a plaster. You know, you always get them in first aid kits there, especially seeing as it was a kit that cost £1 from 99p, the pound shop or something, you know.
Pound shop it was.
Yeah, useless scissors, really pathetic scissors.
You can't even cut the plaster that you're supposed to cut with them with.
No, useless. And I went, "Are these the scissors you're talking about?" I went, I went, "Look, if it means that much, you take them. Take the scissors. Have them.
They said,
I don't
no.
want them." "No. You've put me through all that torture and you don't want them."
And then he got to me.
And then he went, would you like some help putting your things away?"
Oh yeah, after that.
I was like, "No, just leave me alone."
Then he got to me.
And then he got to Caitlin.
I lost my keys on the flight. I think what happened was I was trying to get my earphones and my keys were wrapped in them because I had the keys for the case and everything. My front door key, the keys for the case were all on this bunch of keys. And I think what happened was my earphones got caught up in the wire. No, my key got caught up for the earphone wire. And I was trying to listen to music to calm myself down. Anyway, I think I shook it out or something, and I thought they landed back in my bag, and they clearly didn't. They landed next to my bag or something. I don't know where they were. So I got to him, and I'd already checked, so I knew I didn't have my keys on me. And he went, "Open your case." And I went, well, yeah, I would, but I've not got the key. He went, what do you mean you don't have the key? I went, I lost the key on the plane that I've just come in from. He went, oh, you're a stupid little girl then, aren't you? And I was like, hey, hang on. And you need keys to open a case, don't you? Because I didn't know that, did I?
At this point, I was talking to the female security guard about when I could put my belt back on and my cross. And she was going, we're not finished checking it yet. I had on flat shoes. Not Louboutins with a platform or heels. They were flat shoes. You can't really hide anything in flat shoes. And yes, I did have a jacket that the pockets were full on and I looked like a Michelin man. But there was nothing harmful in there and they weren't bothered by that. They didn't even look at the jacket, did they?
No, but when my case went for X-ray, I went, oh, it's fine. Reluctantly. He didn't want to let me go. But I was annoyed.
Finally, they let us out of this little room that we were forced to go into.
I didn't know that when you've got a connecting flight, you have to go... When you come off the flight, you have to go through... what's it called?
Passport
security. Again. So I was like, okay, so we have security when we get to the next flight.
We weren't supposed to go to that security.
No, I don't. No, I know it wasn't. But as far as I know,
and I believe that was actually some kind of border control because nobody else has heard of this. And when I actually asked the security guard when we were going through security to go onto the next plane, and he said that shouldn't have happened. They're bored. They must have been bored. He said if it was 3 a.m, they're bored. That's why they did it to you. They were bored, so they just wanted something to do.
Yeah.
And I went, what? Yeah.
But before that, we were hungry.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, were we hungry. And obviously, I'd had the crying clown with me because she looked like a clown by the end of it.
I was crying and I had to go outside and have a cigarette and I wasn't.
So I had the crying clown with me and I was like, right, I'm hungry. I need food. I need a coffee. So we were looking around. Everything was closed to us. At this point, I'd been up about 36 hours. I was knackered.
You were tired, you were exhausted, family friendly.
Knackered. Cream crackered. Knackered.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was knackered and needed to sleep, but I couldn't sleep because obviously I was in the airport. I don't sleep well in weird places anyway. So I was like, okay, I'll stay awake.
And I was too scared to sleep because there's people.
She is still okay because she hadn't been awake for as long as I had because stupidly I didn't sleep the night before. I don't know why. I was like excited. I was going on holiday and I didn't sleep. So
the dead man.
Hang on. So that was the day after. So anyway, Costa opened at about 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was so happy. And I went over to them and I said,
none of the vending machines took euros. They all take Czech crowns.
I said to the woman, I went, do you take euros? And she didn't really understand English, and she went, yee. And I was like, yee. And I looked at her and I went, yee. And she went, what? I went, they take euros. So we ordered like 2 sandwiches, 3 sandwiches. We had 2 at like 1.5 each, and coffees because I needed to stay awake.
And she said, how am I going to cut the sandwiches? And I went, well, probably with those scissors I got in my bag.
Yeah. But the woman was nice enough to cut it for us, so we could do that. She was lovely. She was really nice. And she said, I'm going to give you your change back. She went, it's going to be in Czech crowns. I was like, don't care. Fine, thank you. So, after all of that happened, and we were sitting there drinking our drink, the security man, he came out from his little post, didn't he? She wanted to go and kill him. I'm trying to calm her down.
I wanted to go and kill him because he had humiliated me and made me cry. People don't make me cry. I don't cry very often. It's very, very hard to make me cry. Unless I'm watching the Green Mile or a movie.
Or Endgame. She cries then as well.
But it is quite hard to make me cry. He made me cry. And I wasn't happy about that. And mind you, when we were waiting outside and we were having a cigarette, there's that gorgeous guy, wasn't there?
That was the day after as well.
It wasn't. It was when we were still at the airport, weren't we?
The morning. It was in the morning.
Yeah, because I had to go and ask that man if you take euros in the cigarette
after the
shop.
Costa thing, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, things started opening, and these people started coming in. my mother was making up stories of the man bag.
I was trying to occupy my mind because I was getting anxious. And rather than go, I'm scared, don't let me go, I decided that I was going to make up stories. So this guy come on with a great big red case and a handbag.
Man
I went,
bag.
He's got a man bag. A man bag. And all the way through, the guy was there
I had to part
the man
with
bag.
this.
And I'm saying, you know what he's going to do, don't you? And she went, no. He's going to go and shut up a woman because he's got a man bag
And the man bun.
and a man bun. And maybe he keeps a spare man bun in his man bag. And it was stupidity. I mean, I was exhausted. She was exhausted. Anything is funny when you've been up that long.
But because I lost my keys, they told us to go to Lost and Found in the morning. The Lost and Found didn't open until 8 o'clock in the morning.
We couldn't find it at first
No.
because it was lost.
But but then we found it. And we went over to Lost and Found, and she went, there's a phone there, ring them on the phone. And I says, but, like, surely the plane hasn't gone anywhere. Could you not send someone to check?
And my daughter went, Mother, you speak clearer than I do.
She does.
When I'm annoyed, I turn into the Queen Mother.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, hello, yes. I believe that my daughter lost her keys on a flight. I gave them the flight number and the time. I was just wondering if you could check and see if there have been any keys handed in. No, they're not keys. And
Can you check the plane
well,
then?
could the plane be checked or something? Because we've got to get connecting flight. I don't even know if it's going to be the same plane. I don't know how this works, but could you check and see if there's any keys? No keys. They haven't found your keys.
Don't even look.
So we decided that we were going to take over the toilet.
Yeah, I needed to sort out my hair and my makeup.
It was the smelliest public loo.
No, airport toilet, which are usually pretty clean.
It whiffed. I mean,
Yeah, I was spraying a deodorant, I was spraying
disgusting.
perfume.
It was foul. It was, ugh. I mean, I dread to think what the person who'd been in there before us had eaten. But whatever it was, I didn't want any of it because...
But I was doing my makeup. Now, airport toilets, you usually see people doing their makeup or something if they've got like connected flight or stuff. I've seen it loads of times. I was getting the dirtiest looks of people from... Why not? People from
So
Prague.
I said, well, we're English. We're British citizens. It says in our passport that we shouldn't be hassled, and we got hassled. So we covered up the hand basins with our cases and turned it into a beauty parlour in there. And, I mean, we weren't in there that long, were we? In all
About 10
honesty?
minutes.
About 10 minutes, but we covered up the hand basins with our bags, and we were just like, funny repairs. You know, I got out the old mortician's wax, and I was flapping it on. And then, finally, it was time for us to go for our flight. So, we got in the queue. Now, my daughter, who's lovely, bought 3 bottles of vanilla Coke.
Oh, no.
One for me, one for her, and one for who we're meeting at the other end. So, I drank mine. It was nice, very tasty, I enjoyed it. She drank hers. She enjoyed it. Then we realised that we couldn't take the other bottle of vanilla Coke through security to the plane.
You missed out the dying guy.
Oh yeah, I did miss out the dying guy. You liked him. Go on, you can tell about him.
I went outside.
For another cigarette.
Yeah, for another cigarette, because it was like, we were there for a long time. It was like about a 12-hour layover or something, and it was a long time. So I was like, okay. So I went outside for another cigarette. It's daylight by then. And this is after you saw your fancy man and
He was lovely.
everything else. And he then come up to me and went, excuse me, do you have a light? He smelled lovely.
And I look.
He
you look
smelt
quite
really
nice.
nice.
As well,
I didn't no, smelt nice. Didn't I? No, not my type. Her type, not my
It
type.
was gorgeous.
But he came up to me, and I was like, I don't like people coming up to me.
Kind of Christian Grey with the long overcoat.
And he came up to me and he went, "Excuse me," and I was like, "What?" And he went, "Do you have a light, please?" And I was like, "Yeah."
He had blue eyes as well.
And I gave you like green eyes, I like blue eyes.
Yeah, but you had blue eyes.
And I gave him the light, and he's like, "Thank you," and polite and that. I was like, "That's fine, no problem." And she's like, and I was like, "Oh."
I was on holiday.
Anyway, so we went outside, and I was sitting down, and this guy decides to die next to me. Not like die literally, but he was like really dehydrated, and then the ambulance came, and I was sitting next to him, and they were putting needles and stuff, and I was fascinated. I was like,
It was like she was watching an episode of Casualty. She was loving it.
I'd never seen, because I work in retail generally, and I'd never seen a team work so well together. Because usually with my teams and stuff, we're all bickering and stuff, but I've never seen a team work so
She's
well
never seen the
together.
efficiency of a medical team where nobody has to tell anyone what to do, and it's just like, yeah, I've
Boom,
got to
boom,
do this,
boom.
boom, 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 and you everyone knows what they've got to do, and nobody's telling each other what they've got to do or anything.
Amazing.
And she was really fascinated by that.
Yeah.
I was more interested in looking at the modern piece of sculpture that was in the middle of the airport and working out how I could jump off it and commit suicide. But it fascinated her, that did.
Yeah, it was
Anyway, we were standing in line to go through security with this vanilla Coke.
cool.
I'm not wasting it, I'm going to drink it. I went, okay. At this point, some Asian guy coughed in my face and shouted at me. I don't know what he shouted, because I don't speak the language he spoke, obviously. But he coughed in my face and went, and I'm like, pardon?
At that
And it
point, I
wasn't-
was dying.
It wasn't actually me who was shouting at, he was shouting at somebody who was behind me. And I went, excuse me, but if you want to talk to them, can you actually ask me to move? And I will. I wasn't very pleasant at that point. My daughter, meanwhile, is trying to drink this bottle of vanilla Coke. And bearing in mind, she's already drunk one. She was turning green. I thought she was going to blow up at one point. She was going,
I thought I was going to blow up. It was.
you want it? No, thank you, because I was feeling pretty gassy myself, and she was like, I'm not wasting it. I went, well, don't waste it then.
I wasted half a bottle of it.
And she's like, I can't drink anymore, I'm going to be sick. So she had to throw away half a bottle of vanilla Coke, which really,
If it was cherry
Broke my
Coke, I
heart.
would have died. Honestly.
it really broke her heart.
Cherry Coke's my ultimate Coke.
Anyway, we went through security, and the security guard there said, you're going on a connecting flight, weren't you? He goes, well, why did you have to go through there then? I went, they sent me there. And he went, they were bored. He went, you only had to come to us, they were bored. And it's 3 in the morning, there's no one here, they're bored. I went, well, I hope I relieve their boredom. You know, because that was, it was inhuman, wasn't it?
It was horrible. They were really nasty as well.
Anyway, we
To
got
both
on-
of us.
We got through to the gate. Your plane has been delayed. I'm like, okay, this is going to be like a litany now.
It
My
was like
plane's
10
been
minutes
delayed.
late. That wasn't like really bad.
Yeah, I
delayed.
didn't know how long it was going to be delayed. And
No one
It
did.
was only about 10 minutes, so
Always at the front.
it wasn't too bad. And we were the first people on the plane. And they said that there was this steward called Andre.
Oh, not Andre.
He was lovely, wasn't
No,
he? He was lovely.
no.
And I managed to do up my own seatbelt this time. I was really clever.
And I managed to
work
get 10
it
minutes sleep.
out. And we're on the plane.
Literally 10 minutes
This
though.
guy sat next to me. I don't know what language he was speaking.
He was Spanish.
Well, he couldn't speak English and I couldn't speak Spanish, so we had a sign language conversation going on. It was really exciting, you know. He's like, all right. And then we were talking about the plane and where we were going. And he goes, España. I went, we're going to Lanzarote.
I'm going to stop the video now and I'm going to do part 2 straight away because time. So
Yeah. And I told you, if you're getting bored, you don't have to watch it.
I'm going to stop it now and part 2 will follow. Okay?